this clinic is about recareering. It's about finding out what you want to do, and it's about finding a job that excites and scares you. I believe in excites because you should be doing work that's exciting. It is your life. You are in charge of your career. And it should scare you because if you're doing something that doesn't scare you, you're doing the same boring thing over and over and over again, and you're not learning anything. A job that makes you scared that you might fail at it is your goal. So I'm Bryna. I have been in technology for years, like many of us. I came to help out at Raise Me in 2020, and it changed my life. I started doing some career consulting with people, helping them figure out the direction that they wanted to go. I did a great talk that I was really proud of, and I invited Kareem here, who I did not know at the time, to be my prop for the talk. He was John. He wore a propeller beanie, if you remember.
Positive vibes.
Positive vibes. And he was fantastic. And since then, I have developed an entire coaching career. I've built multiple companies. It's given me the confidence to know that I know what I'm talking about, which is a really big deal. And so that's why I'm here giving back to do this again this year.
I am Kareem. I'm the guy she was talking about. And I met her exactly at this literal part of the convention 3 years ago. I was fresh out of college. I had no idea what I was doing. I needed help, and Bryna guided me all along the way. She taught me over the last almost a year, week by week, everything that we're going to be discussing today. I've implemented it, I've used it, and I'm still learning it. I'm still, going through it, making my tweaks, making my adjustments, but I am 100% living proof that it works, and that if you put the work in and you dedicate and you do what works for you, what you're looking for, it will give you the results that you're seeking.
And you know this because you recently transitioned into a new career.
I did, yes. I'm trying to make it not so much about me, but yes, I had a job that I was not happy at, and I started really putting overtime in, putting some NOS into the engine, and now I'm an intake specialist at a law firm down in Manhattan Beach. I'm very happy with what I'm doing. I get to help people, and that's why I'm here, right? Because I want to pay it forward. I want to give back, and the fact that I'm here at the same convention that I met this lady at is pretty amazing to me, so positive vibes.
So if you're here, it's because you know you need a change. Now, people are of two minds about change. Either they're excited, oh my goodness, this is going to be an adventure, or they're not. But the good news is that no matter what, you know a bunch of people, and one of them might have a ladder, and there's a way out. But the first thing that you need to do when you know that you need to make a change is you need to get organized. You're in a job. You're not in a job. You need to change your mind shift. You need to open yourself to the new place that you want to go. So it requires taking stock of the work that you're currently doing, figuring out how to work yourself out of a job. Who owns this spreadsheet that you maintain every week for 6 years, that you are the only one who knows it exists, but you're convinced that the CEOs cannot run the company unless this is updated? Who's going to continue that when you leave the company? That cannot be the reason why you're not leaving. Figure out who owns those things. Find them. Teach them how to do what you do. Work yourself out of a job. I call this jellyfishing away. Jellyfish away. Drop what you're doing, but don't just drop it on the floor, because you can't throw a bomb over your shoulder and walk away. You have to organize things. You want to figure out what your real relationships are. Who do you want to take with you? As friends, as mentors, as professional networks. You need to keep track of the things that you did, even if it's not the work product itself. What were your accomplishments? What information, what pictures are you in at the company that you're going to want to take with you, right? What pages of the website did you write that you're going to want to screenshot before they take them down after you leave? Where's the contact list of all those people so you can remember that one woman in that one department who did that one thing for you that one time that now you're at a new company and you need somebody to do that exact same thing? Grab that contact list. Before you lose your access where you are, before you blow up and storm out of your job and email them that you quit, think about what you have, collect it all together, get it someplace safe, make peace with the fact that you're moving on. Leave your pain and anger behind you so that you're open to the opportunity of what's coming next. Because if you're not there, you'll never be able to take advantage of it. If you bring the same anger at that dumb boss who never let you do the thing that you wanted to do to your new place who's welcoming you with open arms to see what you're actually capable of. So we're going to talk a lot about this. So it sort of weaves in and out of this conversation, but who you know is pretty important. It's hard to know how awesome you are, especially if you've been doing the same job for a long time, or you haven't been doing a job for a long time. It's even worse. Sitting on the couch, counting your breaths because you know it's expensive to be alive when you don't have a job is a real thing. I experienced it. I know it's a real thing. It's the reason I do this. It's terrifying to not have a job. You know people. People know how awesome you are. People will remind you that you are still a worthwhile person, that you are still a worthwhile human being, even if you're not earning money right now. Our society expects us to earn, and there's morality attached to it. There's not. It's not immoral to not be working. It's immoral to think of yourself as unworthy of love or work.
This is something that I had to learn slowly, but I now urge everybody to really think about. When you're leaving that job, it's really, really important to not leave angry and frustrated and give everybody the middle finger, right? You want to really think of who helped you while you were there. Who were the few people that you were close to? Who were the few people that you showed up and you were happy to talk to in the midst of chaos, right? That's very important. You want to work on that contact list. And outside of work, there's people that want to help you. There's people that believe in you. There's people that know your strengths better than you know your strengths. Find those people. Reach out. Make a list. And really focus on what you think and what you want to ask of those people, right? Where do you think they can lead you? Everybody knows somebody. You don't only know who you know, you also know who they might know, right? You have reach into their connections. You have reach into their LinkedIns and their first and third and second connections. And that's really, really, really important. My biggest thing on this, and it's because Bryna did that for me, I met her 3 years ago, and it truly, truly, truly changed my life, is find a mentor. You need to find a mentor. Some of the most successful people in the world have mentors. They didn't do this alone. Steve Jobs didn't do it alone. You know, and all those other names. I hate putting names to it because sometimes you think, oh, well, that's too big, right? It's unachievable, and it's absolutely a lie. It is achievable. It's just the fact that you need to find somebody that you believe in, somebody that you're comfortable with, and somebody that's going to push you, somebody that's not going to give it to you straight, that's not always going to tell you that you're amazing and that you're perfect and that you're great. Sometimes you need to hear, hey, man, you need to work on this. You need to work on that. You need to put a little bit of work into your resume. You need to put a little bit of work into your stickies. Where do you want to go? That's what you need. You want the constructive criticism and be comfortable with receiving it. You want to be able to accept yourself for the good, accept yourself for the bad, genuinely understand there is things that you need to work on, and there's things that you are very good at that aren't necessarily going to come with you or serve you wherever you're going, and that's okay. But you need to surround yourself with the right people. You need to surround yourself with the people that are actually going to help you and tell you those things, and just contact everybody. You know a lot of people. That's very, very important.
Yeah, so the people who are your supporters. So we talk a lot about people you know. You have supporters in your family, and you have supporters in the people who you work for and who work for you and around you, but they're not necessarily the people that you're going to want to talk to about your career. If you know the experience of talking to your parent about your career, chances are they don't understand what it is that you're talking about. Chances are they don't understand how the job market works anymore. Chances are they want for you things that you go, yeah, Mom and Dad, that's lovely. I'm going to be over here doing the thing that I really enjoy doing. So really, these are people that you encounter who believe in you. Out in the world, you have people who take an interest in you. They ask you how you're doing. They ask about your career. They're genuinely interested. We tend to disregard these people often. But if you sit down and you think about who they are, you can probably find them. They're the ones who think that you can do more than you think you can do. The ones who come up with ideas that scare the hell out of you, and you don't really want to talk to them because they're going to challenge you to do things that it's really outside of your comfort zone. So you know the comfort zone, right? It's a place that everybody's super comfortable, and then just outside of that is the panic zone, right? If you don't ever step into the panic zone, your comfort zone can't grow. Because that's the only thing that happens when you step in the panic zone is your comfort zone all of a sudden gets a whole lot bigger. People who you admire and whose careers you want to emulate. I don't know if you've been at Scale all weekend and have tried to talk to people. I don't know that anybody's difficult to talk to. I don't know that the best speaker, the biggest keynoter, the person who's been working at the company that you absolutely have been freaked out to want to work at, and you see it on their badge and you're like, oh no, I don't know if I can talk to them. You can talk to them. They want to talk to you. They have information. They want to help you. People want to help you. That's the challenge. Is as humans, we're terrified by the idea of asking for help. We have this society where we believe that we pick ourselves up by our bootstraps and we sally forth. The only thing that the world is filled with is people who want to tell you about what they do and who want to help you with what they know. That's really what the world's filled with. They're just waiting for an opportunity for somebody to ask them, QA engineer, what do you actually do? Describe your day to me. Nobody is going to turn around and run away. They're going to light up like a Christmas tree. They're going to look for a corner and they're going to want to sit down with you and tell you about their world. Do that. When you're looking for work, though, people still want to help you, but they don't know how to help you. They have no idea. You go, okay, I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for a job. However you go about it, I'm excited. I'm looking for a job, right? And you go to people and you go, I'm looking for a job. And they go, oh my God, great. I have been dying to help you. How can I help you? You need job and money? I have job and money. Job and money. Here, have job and money.
No,
like,
you don't want job and money.
you don't want job.
You do not want job and money.
That is not the job. No, I don't want a $15 an hour job doing data entry in the basement of a department store while they're auditing. And I don't know, somebody does, but in my technology career, that's not the job I want, right? Job and money, thank you so much, Uncle Phil. I love that you offered me $15 an hour to go do data entry in the basement because I need a job. Bless you for thinking of me. However, not the job and money I want. So you go to another friend and you say, I need work, and they go, oh, I've got job and money. They go, job and money right here, and you're like,
I don't want job and money.
I don't want the job and money.
Job and money is the go back to home square on Monopoly. That's how you restart everything that you've been working on. That's what job and money is. Job and money is how you go back to square one. And you don't want to do it. If you're doing this and you're putting time into it and you're passionate about it and you're going to focus and you're going to reach out to all of these people and you're going to make stickies and you're going to redo your resume, all these things that we're going to talk about, you're doing it to find a career. You don't want job and money. Job and money is easy to find. You can find job and money everywhere. Everybody has job and money. Everybody has job and money. But it's so important that you focus on the actual career, finding something that's going to fulfill you. Maybe you'll make a little less, but there's a way for you to get to where you want to be. And that's the most important part of this. Bryna taught me that the hard way.
So the way that you get around this block where nobody can help you until you actually know what you want is you figure out what it is that you want. So this is the first exercise I give every one of my coaching clients, and I'm giving it to you for free. This is the most important thing that you can do. You're going to take a pad of paper and a pen. And I know you want to type in a something. I want to type in a something. But you're going to take a pad of paper and a pen because that's the way your neural pathways and your I don't know neuroscience. I can't explain it to you. I'm sure somebody in the room can. But like the way that your brain works to get the ideas out of your head is through your hand onto a piece of paper. The act of writing it down helps you recall it. It helps you create associations that will then bring up the next thing that you need to write on the pad. Typing doesn't have the same tactile sense. It doesn't work exactly the same way. I've found great success with paper. You're going to think about the job that you want to have, the way that you want your life to feel when you are in that new job. I know I need a change. I don't know what that change is, but I know the way I want to feel because I know the way I feel now, and I don't want to feel like that. So what is the positive swing on I don't like the way I feel now? I can be happy in my new position. I can be happy in my new career. I can be happy with my own company. I can be happy as a senior leader at this small startup. I can be happy as an individual contributor on the security team. I can be happy working from the beach and having a portfolio of clients that I'm just firing off work to all day long. I can be happy with one Slack channel that I'm just watching for incidents all day long, and I don't have to talk to anybody, and I can stay home in my jammies. Think through everything. What work environment do I want? Oh, did we animate this? This is great. Thank you very much. Pardon me while I slide through the things I just showed you. The quiet collaborative office, remote from home, from a beach. Do you want to travel a lot? Do you want a constant crunch time? Welcome to Video Game Central. I like crunching all the time. It's all I want to do. I don't care about my personal health. I will sleep when I'm dead. If you are like that, video game industry is all for you. Healthcare, not all of the video game industry. I love you, video game industry. You're not all unhealthy. Work-life balance is important. We're being recorded. Healthcare, startup media, aerospace. Where is it that you want to be? And so you're going to write this big long list. And you're going to take the pad with you. You're going to put it next to you at the dinner table. You're going to leave it on your bedside stand. You're going to put it in your backpack, take it to work with you. You're going to sit next to you on your desk. And every time you think about what you wish your life looked like and what kind of work you'd like to do, add it. It doesn't matter if it's petty. It's yours. No one else is ever going to see this list. If you censor your ideas from coming out of your hand onto the page, the only thing you're doing is keeping a cloud of the good stuff that's just going to get in the way of you trying to figure out where you actually want to be. Trust yourself. Get your ideas out.
Quick question.
Absolutely.
Should you also be thinking about the things you don't want?
It's a little bit harder to search for don'ts. It's a little bit harder to tell somebody a list of the things you don't want and hope that they will magically understand what that means that you do want. So the clearer you are, remember the job and money people? The clearer you are, the faster you're going to be able to give them more information than I need job and money. And that's what we're trying to get to. So this is part one. We'll get to part two. Part two is while you're working on your wish list, you want to think about what it is that you love doing. You do work right now, all the time. What of it do you like and what of it don't? And it isn't, I love writing reports. I love writing reports. And if it is, that's awesome. But is it the reports that you like? Is it the writing that you like? Is it the accolades that you get at the end of it? Is it the access to data that you've got? Is it the keeper of knowledge position that you love? Is it the being held responsible or trusted that you are the person who pulls the reports and gets to bring the data to someone else? Think about it. Think about all the different aspects of all of the things that you do, because those are important. This is how I figured out that all of the things that I was doing was really about helping people. And that if I just had a topic that I cared about, I could probably help a lot of people with what I know. But what it looked like in my professional life was quality assurance, project management, receptionist, right? All of the bookseller, all of these things that are really about getting something to someone to make their life better. I had no idea it was career coach, executive coach, team leader, team trainer. None of those things came to mind. This is all new. There's also work that you're really, really good at, like pulling reports that you absolutely hate doing. You hate it. You hate it. But do you hate the person that you have to pull them for? Do you hate the fact that you have 750 of them and nobody can tell you what the difference is between any of them so that you can actually keep the database cleaner than it is right now? Is it because you don't understand how the reports make a difference to the company and so you feel completely unvalued? Those are also things that you need to know. You don't want a job that does those things. Or you want a job that does those things so that you can very quickly teach somebody else how to do it. So it's not you.
It's really important because there's things that you're good at that aren't going to serve you where you're going. And that scares people. But that's okay. It's intimidating, right? To know, I'm a really good communicator, I'm a really good manager, I'm a really good leader, I'm efficient, I'm effective, but I don't want to be a leader anymore. Maybe you want to step away from that. That's okay. Or maybe that's exactly what you're looking for, but you need to identify it. You need to identify the things that you're really good at that you no longer want to do, that no longer serve you on the path of where you want to be. That's important, and it's intimidating. It can be not the best feeling, but it's something that you have to do. It's because if you don't, you're going to end up somewhere close to where you were. And that's exactly what this process is trying to avoid. Also, what do you hate doing what do you love doing that you're not so good at? That's the stuff you want to focus on, right? Maybe you want to be more, you want to communicate more to your team. Maybe you want to assume some leadership positions, but you're not feeling so confident. You're not feeling so ready. You're not feeling so prepared. At least understand it and figure out what it is that you're looking for. What jobs around you on the list that you're making have those things that you feel like you're not super prepared for, or you may have to work harder on, or you may have to, involve yourself in the community, but that's the stuff that's really going to serve you the most. Are you good with metrics? Are you good with data? Do you like data? Do you like metrics? Very, very important. Myself? All right. So I was a leader. I was a team leader, a manager in retail. I was very good at it. I was very good at communicating to people. I was good at training people. I was good at metrics. I was good at data. I was good at reports, but I just was dying there. I was not really that happy, and I realized that I was in an environment where everything was pitted against us. And so one thing that Bryna taught me is it wasn't so much what I was doing that I didn't like, but it was in a sense where I was, right? And of course, a couple other things that I was doing. That's what helped me get to where I was, because I realized maybe I don't necessarily hate metrics. Maybe I don't necessarily hate data. I just am not happy with who I'm doing it for and the way that I'm doing it and how I have to communicate it. And that's really, really important, because you realize that there's things that maybe can serve you where you're going, but it's not so necessarily tied to you. It's tied to the environment that you're already in. I'm now an intake specialist at a law firm, and one of the things that I realized is that I really wanted to help people. I wanted to serve others. I wanted to fight for the little guy. And it's kind of what I was already doing in management, right? I had to communicate a lot of the goals to corporate, and I had to communicate a lot of the issues to my executives. But in a very large corporate world, sometimes that's hard to do. It's not so easy to communicate, hey, we might not meet this deadline because you gave me 3 people for something I needed 15 for. And that's okay. It's not necessarily your fault. It's something that you need to understand, you need to focus on, you need to see, what am I doing great at? What is it that I'm actually good at, and how can I use this and not lose it in the fact that I'm upset and not happy with where I'm at, right? sometimes you want to be a bigger part of something smaller. Sometimes you're already in a place where you're a small part of something really big, and that's cool. That's very helpful. But there's no shame in going downwards. I went from a $1 billion company to a $1 million company, $100 million company, right? But I realize now that what I'm actually doing at this $100 million company is way more effective. It's way easier to communicate. I'm happier doing it. The company's at a stage where they're looking for these things. It's easier for me to affect growth. It's easier for me to affect management systems. It's easier for me to affect leadership skills onto my teams because it's smaller. There's so much less fuzz around everything. They're so much more willing to listen than at these big companies. You don't have to go to somewhere huge to be successful. Even if you're already at a big company, there's no shame in going to something smaller. One of the things that for me was really important is Bryna taught me to write everything down, even if it scared me, and write everything down, no matter how different it was. I had things in tech, I had things in real estate, I had things in aerospace, I had things in industries that I literally was writing down just because I liked the company and I thought it was cool, right? And then I kind of went through all of it and realized, okay, what actually would make me happy? What serves what I'm looking for? What looks like it may be cool, but it's gonna lead me back to where I already was? What looks like I maybe can't attain it, but I could work towards. I can close some gaps. I can actually get there if I just put the work in. That's very, very important. Yeah, I looked at basically all of these. I was looking at, my background is in advertising and public relations. So of what I was focusing on. And then I realized maybe that's not exactly where I want to go. Maybe I can look into the legal field, which is where I ended up. And I mean, by faith of God, right? I ended up just running into a job, running into a hiring manager, getting in with a director of operations. And I ended up realizing that a lot of the stuff that I already did in retail, which has nothing to do with the legal field, served me well because I learned a lot of the things that were weaknesses for these companies, and now I can actually exploit those. I knew what these companies were doing to, abuse the little guy, and I knew how they were implementing it, and I knew what these drawbacks were for them, and it allowed me to now get to a point where I can use that knowledge, that background knowledge, those things that I didn't even realize I knew, just because I was in a retail company, and use it to help people that are in those situations that I was kind of managing, right? Because I was the guy that had to tell him, hey, you're showing up 5 minutes late. Why are you doing this? Or things that don't really affect your actual performance, right? But when you're at a really big corporate entity, they're highlighted and they're super, super important to them. When in reality, it's just a way for them to keep, a grip on you. And that was really big for me. I ended up in something that it wasn't a media coordinator. It wasn't an account specialist or an account manager or an advertising specialist or a writer or a copywriter. But I ended up someplace that I actually can still use those communication skills. I can still use those advertising skills, those sales skills to make people comfortable, because filing a lawsuit isn't the best thing in the world, right? The reality of my job is it's actually a little harder now, because if you're coming to me, something's wrong. It's the reality. But my management skills allowed me to learn how to make people comfortable with that and walk them through these processes. And the point of this is that you're going to write a lot of things down. You're going to find a lot of jobs that, maybe you're really interested, but you're also going to find jobs that you didn't even think of, that you didn't even consider, that you really weren't even honestly understanding what the heck you had to do in them. And then when you look at the job descriptions, you're like, oh, wow, there's things that I know how to do now that I've learned that I actually can use in this job. That's way different that I didn't even know was out there. And that's really important. It's not, don't rule yourself out. Don't rule things out. Just look at them and write them down. Take the first step, and then later you can do that consolidation and figure out what you're really looking for. Check, mic check.
Off. There you go, now I'm on. How much of that did we miss? All of it? Great.
Positive vibes.
That's right. Hey, for the people in the room, it's an exclusive. All right, meanwhile, back in wish list town, y'all remember the wish list that I had you all start with your pad of paper and your pen, Kareem.
This is crazy, right? This might look insane, but that's literally mine. That all those stickies, I couldn't even. I don't want to count them. I don't think you do either. But all of those stickies, believe it or not, were places that I wanted to work and jobs that I may be interested in. And there is a lot, as you can tell. Now, the point of this, and this is why one of the biggest things that I speak to is finding a mentor, right? People think a mentor is like a god, and in a sense it is, but anybody can, not anybody, nobody can do it on their own, is what I'm trying to say, right? This lady changed my life. If you would have told me in 3 years that I would be giving a speech, or a talk, a clinic, whatever you want to call it, with her, in the same room where I met her, in the same convention where I met her, I would have told you that I want some of whatever you're on.
After how many years of volunteering at Scale?
14. I started volunteering for Scale in 2009 because of that wonderful, amazing, gorgeous lady back there. Thank you, Lori. And I had no clue. I mean, I graduated college. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? And I realized one day, because I happened to be in the room and she happened to need a John. I'm Kareem, but I'll be John. That I could, maybe cling on to her. I said, wow, this lady is super into technology. Me, not so much, but it doesn't matter because it's what she's saying that is important, and it can be applied to anything, right? I'm not in the technology field. Goodness gracious, my job needs a technologist. Please come talk to me after. But the point of this is that it doesn't matter exactly what role you're looking for. It doesn't matter exactly what industry you're looking to be in. The basics and the foundations are the same, and they can be applied to everything. Because of Bryna, my list looks like this. And if she hadn't been there, it probably all would have been gray and not color coordinated. And it would have been tough. So find a mentor. Find a mentor. Find somebody that's around you. I know that every single person in this room has somebody that's around them that can help them, that is good at it, that it knows you better than you know yourself, that knows your strengths, that knows your weaknesses, and just might have a ladder for you to get out of that hole that you're in. Because the truth of the matter is everybody is in that hole multiple times in their life. Multiple times. The last hole that you climbed out of is not going to be the last hole. And that's just a reality.
So to add on to that, you too can be a mentor. You too have things that you know that you can share with others. Practicing helping others is one of the best ways to get out of your own head. It's one of the best ways to make you happy. Helping someone else is the best way to remind you that you also can ask for help, that it's real. As you learn how to get out of the current place that you're in and recareer to the next place, it is your responsibility to those you care about to share with them what you have learned. Not sharing your knowledge and experience is selfish. It's selfish. I was laid off from a company. I was laid off from Fox. Let's just put it out there. I was laid off from Fox, not nothing. They hired Lee Hecht Harrison to help me recareer. There I met a career coach who taught me the basis for a lot of the exercises that I use and teach today, and gave me the confidence to understand that the reason that you're laid off is because you're paid too much, you've been there too long, and you're too good at what you do. You are rehireable. It's the reason they lay you off. They know that they're setting you free into the ecosystem. They are certain that you will get rehired. And the reason they know this is because you have done a great job for them. You are making the most money that they can afford to pay you. And you can take your experience and go someplace else. Because if you've been in a place for a long time, what happens? You build your clique. You've got your friends. You know what you know. You've got your job. Everything's humming. And you just keep it humming. But then you're not innovating. And when somebody owns a company and they see a corner of something that isn't innovating, hey, that one DBA isn't letting anybody else learn about the database, can't manage people, isn't going to hire, doesn't know how, we don't have the time to train him, he's stuck. We need to bring in other DBAs. We're going to need to force him aside, because otherwise our database is going to be a single point of failure for our company. It's painful, but it's real as a business owner, it's real. Letting you go someplace else where you can take what you know and innovate in a new spot for a new company lets you build new routes, lets you build new networks, new circuits, new connections. That's how that happens. And your top 10 list.
I missed that thing. I can't believe it. That's crazy. But your top 10 list is essentially the start of you forming this beautiful thing that Bryna introduced me to that's called your North Star, right? And you need it. You need to, obviously, that you guys saw that list, right? It's overwhelming, but that's okay. It's good to have so many. Now, once you have that list, you need to really highlight what of this means the most to me. What are my deal breakers? What can I not sacrifice, right? Do you want to be remote? Do you want to work hybrid? Do you want to work in an office? Do you want to be out on the field? Do you want to lead a team? Do you want to communicate with people? Do you want to work mainly with data? Those are the things that you really want to focus on, and the ones that you're not willing to sacrifice, right? What were the things that, why are you doing this, right? What in your last job was causing you to be unhappy? Now think of that here, and how are you going to avoid that now, right? Those are the things on your top 10 list that you don't want to lose, because they're going to help guide you. And it's okay to have deal breakers. It's okay to say no to a job that maybe sounds good, but you know that 5 of the things on your list aren't going to be there, and you just might end up in that hole again. Don't risk it, right? If you're already doing this and you're already on this track, make it worth it. Take the pressure, take the pain, take whatever it is that you're doing and whatever it is that you're feeling, which, trust me, I know. I was unemployed for, how long was I?
I think it was more than a year, wasn't it?
A long time.
Yeah.
I was unemployed for a while. And I left the job because I was dying inside. There was too many things on this list that they did not have. And I didn't know that until I made the list, right? And I realized, wow, that was a mistake. But I was out of college. I was just finishing. I graduated right when the pandemic hit. And it's okay, right? But you want to understand that it's okay to say no to things that maybe sound amazing, but you know deep in your heart that aren't going to lead you to where you want to go. That is very, very, very important. You're not looking for job and money. You're not looking for job and money. Job and money? No, I don't want job and money. You don't want job and money. Bryna ingrained it so well into my head, and I will never forget it.
So thank you, Kareem. So when I left Fox and I did this exercise, these are the top 10 that I came up with, and I'm not kidding that these are actually it. This is I wanted to work on a West Side location because the commute I wasn't interested in. I wanted bleeding edge technology. I wanted sexy problems, right? Sexy technology problems. Like, you really want to have something that's meaty that you need to solve for somebody. I wanted a collaborative environment. I wanted a servant leadership position with supportive authority.
Could you define all that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Bleeding edge technology. Bleeding edge technology is something else that nobody else is doing. Yes, I'm sorry, where would you like me to? The servant leadership, okay. So servant leadership position with supportive authority. So I believe that the reason that I'm a leader is so that I can make sure that your work life is better and you have a career path that you feel is something that you actually want to pursue, and it solves a problem for me. I tend to put you first. I do, it's true. I will forget to eat. I do all day. I'll forget to drink water. I'll forget to stop and have lunch. I will forget to go to the bathroom. It will happen. All biological functions cease when you're leading, when you are a servant leader, because I'm about you. And I need to make sure that you're okay so that I can move on with my day, because otherwise nothing's moving. So I need to know what you need to be able to get you moving so that the cogs continue to work. I am your servant as a leader. Right? When I was at Nordstrom, the way that they showed this was they used an upside-down pyramid to show that the people who are the closest to the customer are the people who matter the most. So the front line, the customer service people, the people at the stores working with customers, people on the phones working with customers, they were the most important. And at the tip of the pyramid are the Nordstrom brothers themselves, as the executive leadership. They are the farthest away from the customer. They matter the least. Customer people eat first. Leaders eat last. So I believe in that. However, if you are alone in that belief at your company and people don't back you up, you're useless. You have to have a good leadership team that actually knows how to integrate. So I wanted to be a leader, but I knew that I needed to have a strong leadership team to work with. I wasn't going to stand solo doing Scrum perfectly in the corner by myself while the rest of the company was doing Waterfall. Stop laughing. I know you know, I know, I know. We've all been in that. We're doing Scrum so perfect over here. And the rest of the company is, what Scrum? What Agile what? No, yeah. That looks good, though. It looks like fun. Looks like you guys are having a good time. Keep it up. Doesn't work, right? The rest of the 10, technical visionary leaders, huge opportunities for personal growth, personally challenging and outside of my comfort zone. I really wanted to find something I could fail at. I was so bored. Physical infrastructure, operations role, that was my jam, and a great compensation package, right? Those all sound pretty good. Well, coming out of Fox, I actually had a friend who was like, hey, I'm working at this company. You should come over here and talk to us. I think you're gonna like it. They had every one of the 10, not even just the top 5, but every one of the 10, and that was Edgecast. One of the best jobs of my career. Edgecast, bought by Verizon, bought AOL, Yahoo. Now they're Edgio and Yahoo and a few other things. And shout out to my brothers. But the 5 points of my North Star, right? It worked. It worked. This is the goal. The goal is that you have 5 things out of that list that matter to you the most, that you can shout out, that you can read off, you can put stickers on your fingers, and every time you talk to a person, you can pull your hand out of your pocket and you can go, oh yeah, these are the 5 things that I need out of a job. Because that job and money person, all they want to do is help you. It's it. And if you can say, this is what I'm looking for something in this industry, with this kind of role, with this kind of job, in this kind of company, with this kind of commute, or this kind of money, or this kind of leader, or this kind of whatever it is, then they can go search with you. Then they can go, every time something sounds like that, they can go, oh my God, Bryna. Bryna's going to be the best person for this. Or Bryna's going to know the best person for this. Or that reminds me of, right? It's so much better than trying to deflect recruiters who think they have the job for you. $25 an hour. You too could be a project manager for 3 months in Michigan. No, it's not your career path, but it's a job, right? It's a job. You need a job. You need a job. Your dad says, go to the burger place. go get a job at McDonald's while you're not working. That's not how jobs work. It's not how it works. It's not how it works.
All right, guys, what do we say to jobs and money? That's what I'm talking about. Okay? And what I love about this, and I can't stress it enough, this literally saved my life. It truly, truly did. Because until I met Bryna, I was like, job and money, what?
Until I met Bryna.
Did someone say job and money? But this is your response to job and money. That's why it works so well. Because there's nothing wrong with people asking you or offering you job and money, right? They just want to help. They're not trying to kick you down. They're literally trying to help you. But they don't know how because they think you want job and money. Well, now with this, with the 5 points of your North Star, you say, well, my job and money has to look like this. No job and money? All right, cool. I'm going to keep looking. That's literally what it is. It guides you. You need to find, and that's why the list, that big long list, is so important, because you realize everything that you care about, and then you realize how important it really, really is, right? I came from retail management. I wanted to work remote, and I said no to jobs that were going to pay me pretty well, but were not hybrid, and it was okay. And I would go to Bryna, and I'd say, Bryna, I don't know, man. I know we said no to job and money, but it's been like 6 months, and job and money sounds really good right now. Are you sure? She'd be like, what did we say, right? That's why I'm so adamant about it, because it's tough. It's really easy to say no to job and money 1, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 20 weeks. Okay, now we're at 24 by now. What the hell is going on here?
Let's stop scaring the people, okay?
No,
let's,
but it's
let's,
true.
Let's think. So no, hang on just a second. I'm gonna step in here. So Kareem's experience notwithstanding, I meet with a lot of people. It takes as long as you want this to take. Let's be honest. If you know that you need to come up with information about what you're going to be looking for so that you can start searching, the sooner you get started, the better. The more focused you work on it, the faster you're going to get it done. The things I'm teaching you are doable. You can start this on a Thursday and have a job by next Friday. I know, because it just happened to my friend when I worked with her on her resume 2 weeks ago. And then I did it again with another friend. So I know that this is possible. It only takes as long as you want it to take. If you... There are situations where it will take a long time. You can think about it and mull it over and drag your feet and get yourself comfortable with the idea and approach it carefully like it's a baby bird in the hopes that it doesn't fly away before you actually can take action to do it. Because let's be honest, this is scary, right? Knowing that you're going to get beaten on Mondays and Wednesdays is so much preferable to not knowing when you're going to get beaten. Staying where you are with the devil you know is often so much more comfortable and feels so much safer than going out in the world and wondering how you're going to get treated. But I promise you that what's outside where you are is genuinely better. It is. Because once you make the decision that what you're doing is making you unhappy, and if you didn't, you wouldn't be sitting here, you wouldn't be watching this. You wouldn't be thinking about your future. You wouldn't be trying to improve on what you've got to get to the next level, the next layer, the next opportunity. But it's terrifying. And it's another reason why you need someone on your side. You need someone who you mentor, who you can fail in front of. Be an example. Share what you're going through. Write on social media about your experience. I am terrified. But I'm about to tell you that I'm looking for a new career. Now, I know what you're saying. You're all going to say, hey, I've got a job for you. And that's awesome. And I want to talk to you. You want to talk to every one of those people who cares about you enough to see you on social and wants to talk to you about a job. Not a recruiter who's looking to hire you for $15 an hour to stock shelves. But like someone who's been following you and who believes in you. You want to take the time to talk to those people because they're going to have ideas that you haven't even thought of about yourself. Have you thought about being a leader? Well, no, I've always been an individual contributor, but I'm the one who makes sure that everybody's getting their things done, and I'm the one that everybody wants to talk to all the time, and I'm the one who's helping out with the processes, and I'm the one who makes sure that the leaders understand what's going on. But no, I don't want to be a leader. Well, your behavior shows otherwise. What are you really afraid of? Are you afraid of the leadership at your company? That's fair. Go find a place where you can be a leader with other people who are like-minded, who want to do the things you want to do. Don't count yourself out because of where you are. Where you are is safe, and outside is scary. But once you get outside, the world's pretty bright, and you're going to remember all the people who are sitting inside the place you just left, and they're terrified to leave, and you're going to want to start plucking them out. You're going, hey, I can help you. I know it's terrifying, but this is the bravest thing you'll ever do. You can't be brave if you do something that doesn't scare you. Right?
One thing that I learned from one of the leaders that really helped me at my previous jobs, and I take this quote with me everywhere I go, and he used to say that the comfort zone is an amazing place, but nothing ever grows there. And it's so true. When you really think about that, it's very, very true. Your comfort zone is cool, but if you stay there too long, it just may be where your dreams go to die. And you have to be okay with being uncomfortable and finding something that scares you, finding a job that you may be intimidated by, finding a job that, wow, can I do this? I mean, I want to do it. I think I can do it. I'm pretty sure I have a lot of the skills to do it, but I just don't know if I can be a leader. Well, it sounds like you're kind of already a leader. They just haven't given you a position, and you're not really, you haven't found the right opportunity, the right place to be a leader. That's very important.
So I want to let you know right now, to do a house cleaning check. It's 11 a.m. We are going to run long because the next speaker has COVID and was unavailable. So we have a special guest. Lori Barfield will be joining us here in a little bit to talk about her experience as a leader with the Coast Guard Auxiliary and diversity in leadership. But we're just kind of taking our time and sharing more information with you. So if you'd like to stay, we have more.
Where do you look? Right? There's a lot of different options, whether you believe it or not. I that kind of shocked me, right? I went on ZipRecruiter, I went on LinkedIn, I went on Indeed, I went on Google, which Bryna's actually a big fan of it, and I didn't even realize how good it was until I tried it because of that beautiful screen.
I saw that. Sorry. There you go. I wasn't really.
And one of my big points on this is, I just mentioned a lot of big ones, right? But those aren't the only ones. There's also job bulletins here at Scale. There's job bulletins for DevOps Day LA. There's job bulletins for Career Day. You have, if you just graduated college, you have a resource center, right? If you went to wherever you went, if you went to 2-3 colleges, you have access to 2-3 resource centers. You have access to 2-3 job bulletins. You know who you know. You not only know who you know who they know. And they also might have jobs available in their LinkedIns and in their social medias and whatever. You need to really think outside of the box when you're looking for the jobs, because the jobs are scattered. They're not all in one place. I learned, and it shocked me, because I would go on ZipRecruiter and I'd find really good opportunities that weren't on LinkedIn, but the companies were on LinkedIn. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Why are these jobs not? I can't even explain it, to be honest, but I can explain that there's value in looking everywhere and finding all of these jobs and making this huge list, finding something that intimidates you, because that's what's going to make you happy. And more importantly, that's what's going to help you grow, is finding something that intimidates you, that scares you, that you grow into, and you can use all of these beautiful, amazing resources to find them. There's going to be more than one at all of them.
One of the things that isn't listed on here is the company websites themselves are often a great font of information. If you want to know what stage of maturity a company is in, look at who they're hiring. If all they're doing is hiring senior leaders, then they're either just getting started or they're going to look for money, right? Those are good times to join. Figuring out where you fit. Do you fit in a small company? Are you a Jill of all trades who can do 10,000 things in all kinds of different areas, and you love being the shortstop and catching anything before it falls to the ground? If you love those jobs, startups are your world, right? You can look for startups by looking for who they're hiring, by looking for them in the and built in, by looking for them in the startup sites, and go target those. If you work best in a medium-sized company where you still like the small business atmosphere, but you feel that the overnights and long hours of the startup is a little bit too much, being back-to-back with other engineers, like you're in a kitchen just trying to serve stuff up as fast as possible. If that's too much, maybe it's medium-sized, large. After they've been purchased, sometimes that's a nice, comfortable place. You can go in and do deep research. You can go do more advanced engineering in places that invest in larger engineering efforts, or you can go plug up printers. It depends on what it is you want to do. You can lead engineering teams at smaller companies more easily than you could do it at larger companies. But knowing what phase of a company's maturity you excel at is really important. Because if you're in a big corporate enterprise environment, your square that you can stand in is about this big before you step on somebody else's toes in some direction, right? Oh no, I just did a thing. I just knocked something down. I just knocked over a system. I just took out the West Coast internet access. I just screwed up the supply chain, right? Like, so intricate, so complicated, hard to be able to take a move. If you're at a smaller place, you can make big swings and not hit anybody for miles. But it also means you're responsible for more. But you also have the opportunity to learn more, fail more, grow more, hopefully hire, mentor, train, continue to grow out your world. Google, yeah, it's right there. Jobs near me. It'll automatically do it. I want a security engineering job near me. Type it. Click the bar. It gives you a whole thing. It's pretty great.
Click that blue little bar.
Click the blue bar,
I
unless
didn't
it's
even know you
dark.
could click
Yes,
it.
sir. How can I help you? So well, it depends on what area of technology you're actually interested in, right? There's unlimited certifications. I say find the job that doesn't require the certifications. Like I say, apply for the jobs that don't require you to have college degrees, because 90% of the jobs that require you to have college degrees actually don't ever use your college degree ever. And 30 years into your career, the fact that you didn't take classes 30 years ago where you forgot anything you possibly would have learned then versus your 30 years of experience to get that job now, not worth your time. Fight against that. But there's the generally understood. We have a hiring manager panel that's going to be happening this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and you can ask the hiring managers what they would recommend. That would be a better answer. I can't give you a definitive.
This is where the work starts, right? You have already this huge list. You've already started to break it down, right? Of where do I want to work? This list of things that scare you, things that intimidate you in companies and places that you feel you could excel at and excite you, right? Now you have to actually start putting the work in. You have to go and you have to get that job description and map it to your resume. You want to make stickies, and for every little thing that's on that whatever job description, you go ahead and you actually tie it to something on your resume. And that's where you see the gaps, right? There might be gaps that are actually not gaps. There's just things that aren't listed on your resume because the last job that you were looking for didn't need that. But nonetheless, you still have the skill that would fulfill that job description. Well, there you go. Now you tailor a exact resume to this exact job description. That's something that I learned because I thought that a resume was a one-size-fits-all kind of solution to things. And I think that's something that a lot of people think, right? You make the resume and then you blast it out to 1 million jobs and you realize, oh crap, a lot of these jobs are actually different. The job description is a little bit different. The requirements are a little bit different. The experience is a little bit different. And I actually may fit all of them, ironically, right? Because you went to school, you have all of this experience. But you didn't put the work in, you didn't tailor it, and now you automatically ruled yourself out. Don't rule yourself out. Let them tell you no, right? And this is one of the big ways that you do that. Bryna,
Yeah.
I love you, man.
Yeah, man. So this is from a Raise Me technique. So the idea with Raise Me is that you have a master resume where you keep track of all of your job experience. I have a whole template for it. It's pretty cool. But really, you're just trying to find a single location to be able to drop all your resume information so that you can then pick from it like a Chinese menu of 3 from column A, 2 from column B, 1 from column C for this kind of work that you actually want to do. So if you've done security and DevOps and QA engineering, that's awesome. But there are things that you did for each of them that are going to meld together that are going to actually suit the job you're going to look for. So you need a resume. You need whatever resume you've been using is fine. It doesn't really matter. You pull it up because that's the last thing you've got. It's where you've got all your information. You don't have to rethink about it. You want the job description that excites and scares you. It's not going to be the job you're going to apply for. This is going to take a minute. So find something that is a thing that you would want to focus on, that motivates you enough to be able to sit down and do the work of mapping your resume. Whiteboard application, so I use Miro. I advocate for Miro. I'm not paid by Miro, but if Miro goes away, my career's gone. Sticky notes and a good pen will also work if that's the way you need to work and you don't have Miro, dining room table, sticky notes, physical media. You're going to color code your jobs. So as Kareem was saying, you've got all of these things that you have done, all this volunteer work you've done, all these organizations you've done, the open source communities you've contributed to, the talks you've done, the articles you've written, the people you've helped, the organizations you've been a part of. They each get a sticky note, they get color coded. For every sentence on your description, you go through every line. We are looking for, here's the description of the job. Even the description of the job. In the description of the job is you will be coordinating with, I used to coordinate. I coordinated at this place. Let me put a blue sticky over here. I'm going to write myself a little breadcrumb that reminds me how I coordinated at this place. You will be responsible for database. I did database. I get database at this place. Hang on, let me put down my database stuff. And you're going to cover everything with stickies that remind you of things that you've done. You're just doing a memory exercise and you're physically pulling data out of your head that you're going to use to build a resume. Then you're going to take a resume-shaped object. Summary, information about the job, all the boring structural outline of a thing that you can do because it's data and it's not feeling stuff. It's a whole lot easier to just get that in the shape in a resume, some kind of template off of something. And you're going to take all these stickies and you're going to shove them into the resume. When you do it, you're going to figure out what's common to all of these jobs that you've worked. I've done this same thing at 5 different places. Maybe that's a skill. I should move up to the top. Right? I don't have to list it out every time. But you want to use these to be able to create accomplishments. How can I show in a measurable way what I accomplished? How did I leave that company better than I found it? Right? I came into that company and I made a difference there. Good, bad, or indifferent, I made a difference. How'd I do it? I decrease customer service satisfaction by 50%. Okay, well maybe you find a different metric, right? Did you increase it by 300%? Was there customer support at your company when you started and you started it? Hey, you improved customer service by 100% because it was 0 when you started. Right? Everything's got a metric. Everything's got a way of being able to show how you made a difference. That's what the people who are looking to hire you want to know. How'd you make a difference at the place you were at? How do I know that when I bring you in, that you're not just going to occupy a chair? Right? When you're doing your interview, one of your questions should be, after I solve your problem in 30 days, what's your plan for me? Because that company opened a job description because they've got a problem, and you are their problem solver, Recruiters don't know how to write job descriptions. Hiring managers don't know how to write job descriptions. They pick old tropes off the internet. You get all kinds of bad things. Job descriptions are terrible. But if you know the job that you're looking to do, you can guess what kind of situation they're in. You can guess from the company information how big they are, whether or not they're starting this. You can look at the people who work at the company in LinkedIn, and you can find out whether or not there are a lot of project managers or you will be project management, right? Very big difference. There are a lot of engineers or you will be security. All of it for the company, starting from scratch. Right? There's a really big difference in a job. So if you know that you're starting from scratch, when you walk into your interview, your resume is already going to be set up going, I know how to originate security at a startup. And it's going to be right there plain as day because you're going to show off how you did it. It's going to be in your summary that that's what you want to be doing. And they're going to know that you're the person. And you're going to get right past the person who you hand the resume to, which is not the LinkedIn submit button. But hopefully you've reached out to somebody who does that job at the company that you're looking at. And you talk to them and you go, hey, I'm interested in coming to work at your company. Oh my God, they have an opportunity to talk to somebody who's a potential coworker. Don't you think they want to know who you are as much as you want to know who they are? Ask them if they'll take the time to talk to you. Say, hey man, I want to come join your security team. What's it like working there? And if nobody answers you, maybe it's not the security team you want to join, right? So that will also tell you if you're looking in the place that you want to be. This is powerful.
This is honestly one of the most important parts to this. And it's really identifying what you need to work on, essentially. And it's scary, but it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean game over, right? It's you identifying, hey, I'm going to need to close certain gaps in order to get some of the jobs that I really, really want, some of the careers that I'm really looking to embark on. And that's exactly why it's important. The good thing is that there's resources for it. There's places like DevOps DLA. There's places like Scale. There's courses that you can jump on online. One of my favorite things for this particular subject, and I think it's just because I've been doing it for a while and it ended up working for me, it introduced me to Bryna, is volunteering. Volunteering is a great way to help you start closing those gaps, because not only do you start working in something that is the environment that you're looking to be in, not only do you start meeting people that you didn't know before, you can grow your actual network. You can grow and learn from people that can help you close those gaps because they already closed those gaps and they already identified them. And maybe they don't even know that you were looking at that, but you can make that call. Right? You can identify, hey, this group of engineers is actually really, really good at communication for whatever, whatever your specific gap is. And that's why it's so pivotal. And it can serve both ways, right? You just might find a great mentor. There's online communities, there's conventions, there's events, you can go on I think something Bright, I don't remember, Eventbrite. Mm-hmm. And you can look for whatever kind of community you're looking for and events that tie into that community, and go there and volunteer and meet a group of people, meet an actual set of genuine individuals that are working within the industry that you're looking to go, and you can learn from them. It's not just a course, right? Which I'm not talking down on courses. Courses are amazing. You can get certificates, but there's also more interactive ways than just sitting down and putting a bunch of hours and a bunch of work in, which it's not a bad idea. The beauty of volunteering is that you get to meet people and you get to expand your network with it.
So write and rewrite. Don't be afraid. Craft beautiful sentences. Get your ideas out. Try to show who you are on the resume. Don't try to pretend that you're square. Don't try to pretend that you are a white piece of paper, because the minute that you hand your resume to someone and they know who you are, if they hand the resume to somebody else, it has to travel with the paper. They're not going to take the time. By the time you get into the interview, the people who are interviewing you probably haven't looked at the resume. Maybe they know something about you and maybe they don't. So you want to stand out when they do look at it. You want to be memorable. The purpose of a targeted resume is to get a call back. It's also the agenda for the conversation that you're going to have with your hiring manager. If there's a thing that you want to talk about, put it on your resume. If there's a thing you don't want to talk about, don't put it on your resume. What happened at this company? Oh no, that was just a, yeah, that was a, yeah, that's not going to work, right? So on that note, I'd like to remind you that sign up for career consultation today. This is the QR code that will take you out to the site to allow you to sign up for a career consultation. We have a career sign-up desk just outside this door. There's a lovely gentleman right next to the printer who'll be happy to help you with any questions that you have about getting professional headshots or getting a career consultation today. And with that, Kareem, would you like to summarize our day?
Yes. I think one of the most important things really is identifying why did you leave the job? Why are you not happy, right? And not being so negative, but just really like, what was it that wasn't working for you? What was it that you were looking to change, right? You want to understand that. You want to focus in on it and really understand, okay, well, what would work for me? What do I want to trade that for? What would actually genuinely fulfill me? Do you want to lead? Do you want to help others? Everybody has a different answer to it. You need to find yours and just be kind to yourself. Don't be your worst enemy. Be genuinely nice and understand that this is something that happens to everybody. And really, really, one of my biggest takeaways from this is honestly do your best to find a mentor. You genuinely, I cannot stress it enough, somebody out there is going to work specifically for you, and everybody wants to help. Even the job and money people are looking to help, right? It all comes from a good place, but genuinely finding a mentor that's going to give it to you straight, that's going to tell you some things that you don't want to hear and tell you some things you didn't know you do want to hear is going to be pivotal. Find your North Star. What are your deal breakers? What is it that you're not willing to sacrifice? What is it that you're genuinely looking for? What are your main goals? Do you want to be remote? Do you want to be in an office? Do you want to be out on the field? And put the work in. Just start mapping the resume. Like Bryna said, you're going to have to rewrite it. And the beauty of that is that after you rewrite it a bunch of times, when you actually go to that interview, you don't even need the resume. The resume is really for them. You can speak to everything on that resume because you already mapped out in your head what you want to talk about. Because like she said, if it's on the resume, you want to cover it in the interview, right? You want to actually speak to it. That's the beauty of it, is you're memorizing the interview conversation that you're going to go and have. And by you creating that resume, you can put yourself in a position where you can actually lead it. You can figure out what questions do you want to ask them, because that's very important.
So I'm Bryna, coachingwithbryna.com. If you'd like to reach out, this is how you find me.
Is your deck on there?
My deck is not on there. We will find a way to get my deck available.
Okay, thank you.
Kareem is at positivevibes.om. Not really, but we're working on it. It's just a little pricey. It's a domain. If anybody is a domain registrar and has promo codes we'd love to find out.
Hit your boy up, Positive Vibes.
yeah,
You can call me Positive
Take
Vibes.
donations.
You can call me Kareem.
Wink, wink. And I'd like to thank you, Unsplash, for commercial-free art in my deck. I'd like to thank ChatGPT for giving me the outline for this talk. I'd like to thank Lori Barfield and Derhans for giving me the opportunity to be able to reunite with Kareem here and present this Recareering clinic to you. And I really hope that you've learned things and that I was helpful. And then I'd like to thank Scale and Raise Me for giving us the room and the space and believing in us to let us continue year after year. So please also sign up for a consultation. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Bryna. Thank you, Scale. Thank you, DevOps. And thank you to that lady in the back. Lori, you changed my life in 2009. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.